All right, I just recently closed on a $1.5 million listing that I got from Instagram. Yes, you heard it right. I got that lead from Instagram. The seller didn't know me. It was actually referred to me by someone that follows me and that knows me through my Instagram post. So in this video, I am going to go over exactly how I got that lead, but I will go over exactly how I closed the listing when I met the seller at the listing appointment. Everyone wants to know, what do you say at the listing appointment? So let me get right to it, because what I say works every single time whenever I see a seller or meet with a seller for a listing appointment. So here's how I got that listing from Instagram. It was from a friend that connected with me through social media. We met on social media, and I can tell you, I met him in 2019. Nothing happened from it, but we connected on social media. He followed me, followed my journey, followed all of my posts, saw how I represented homes, and we engaged through DMs back and forth, and we built a relationship. So he trusted me. He knew exactly what I was about, my core values. He knew how I represented listings. And so he knew without a doubt that if he was to refer me this $1.5 million listing, that I would take care of the client and I would get it done. And so through my post, through stories, and also through DMs is how I fostered that relationship. Honestly, don't know who you're going to run into, who you're going to meet. That's why I always love to connect with my audience. I want to make sure that they know I'm a real person. They know I'm authentic. And so through stories, through DMs, through following what I do and all my consistent posts, he referred me that deal. And with that being said, I scheduled an appointment with the seller. I didn't know who he was. He didn't know who I was. He was a gentleman that was retiring and moving out of Washington State and moving over to South Carolina. And so he needed somebody to list his home and get him top dollar. He didn't know who I was, and he doesn't have a social media, but again, I got the deal from social media. Funny how that works. So step number one is, when I met the seller, I wanted to make sure meeting with him is that I gave a great first impression. My brother and I walked in professionally. We had everything lined up. We already had all of our studies done, so we knew exactly what was selling in the area. Come in with that ammunition. You need to have the knowledge of the area, the neighborhood. And what I say is, make sure you have that ammunition. Make sure you walk in there and give them that great first impression, because that really does matter when you do meet with a client. The confidence, they can feel it. They can feel it through how you walk, how you talk, and what you say. So I walked in there, shook his hand with a smile, and literally, I do this every single time, and I thank them for having us at his home and giving us the opportunity to go over why we are the best at what we do. So have the confidence. The first impression's always number one. Number two, I love to build rapport. So anytime you're selling, and I learned this early on in my sales career, I was a top salesman at a car dealership for 3 years straight. I was salesman of the year. But number one thing you should always do when selling is you have to build rapport. Everything be so serious to the fact that it's only transactional. You have to build rapport. You got to figure out who you're working with, and they got to know that you care about them. They want to know who they're working with. And so here's what I do is, number two, it's important for you to build rapport. Building rapport is key to getting the seller to like you. And so how I do this is I give them the full layout of, hey, here's what's going to happen. We're going to go ahead and walk through your property. And then as we're walking through the property, this is where you want to build rapport. And so when we're walking through the property, we ask questions, we figure out why he's moving, what's the motivation. And then while I'm doing the walkthrough, I want to look for certain things that connect the client, that we could build a connection through. And so as I open the seller's garage door, he happened to have a lift in his garage. Why do I notice that? It's because I'm into cars. I'm into racing. I've been into racing ever since I was 13 years old. I got into racing. I've always been at the racetracks, working on cars with friends, working on my personal cars. So the moment I saw a lift in his garage, I had to mention something about it. And when I mentioned, I was like, hey, what are you working on in the garage? What do you have? What type of toy do you have? He smiled, he lit up, and he said, I had a Porsche 911. I said, no way, no way. And we started talking about Porsches. And the moment we started talking about something in common, because I drive a Porsche and I love cars, he all of a sudden let his guard down, because he wasn't as open to talking and being so free with us until we built a rapport and found common ground. We're strangers to him, not anymore. Now that he knows that we're Porsche fanatics, he let his guard down. Everything was a breeze. When it was time to show him what we do and why we do it best, he trusted us with whatever we said because he liked us. He liked us because of what we have in common. And so it could be a Porsche, it could be what he's wearing, it could be his shoes. It doesn't have to be cars. There's always something that I look for so that I can connect with the sellers, whether it be clothing, shoes, whatever they drive, anything in the household that we can build a rapport and a connection with. I will use that. And when I do that, I'm letting their guard down and they are trusting me more and more, and they like me more and more. When they like you, they will trust what you say. So when it came down to the listing presentation and showing him exactly why we do what we do and how we will get them maximum exposure, because everyone is going to say the same thing, but what sets you apart? For me, everyone can say the same thing, that they're gonna hold open houses, that they're gonna be posting on social media, but they're gonna also put a key box and a sign and they'll hold open houses. But what are you gonna do differently? There's something about you that sets you apart from every other agent. And so with me, I always mention and I pull up the fact that I have the largest social media following in Washington State, and I've been ranked #1 for 6 years straight. I have YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and his property will be blasted on all platforms. If you haven't built that, I suggest you start building your platforms, because it is true, if there's more eyes on the property, there will be more appointments and also more contracts. So I highly suggest that you leverage the power of social media, and that's how I built my business. But he saw what we were about. He saw exactly the type of posts we make and the type of reach we get for free without paying for any ads. And so he trusted us with listing his home in Mercer Island for $1.5 million. And so you could do the same. And if you're looking to do the same, we have these strategies that we teach day in and day out for free. I'm happy to help you take your brand to the next level or help you get more clients for free using social media. And if you want more videos like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. So those were the exact steps that I took, is again, building rapport. That is the key to closing a deal, is you should have a connection. And so with that being said, make sure you get out there, you build your social media platform, and you also start building rapport with everybody and networking with everybody, because you never know where your next deal is going to come from, and it definitely will come from social media if you leverage it properly. Again, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button below if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you guys on the next video.